like a tall oak tree, alone and crying when the birds have flown and the nest is bare. Now a woman Lord is like a young bird, and the tall oak tree is a young man's heart. Among its boughs you'll find her resting, and the nights are cool, she is warm and dry. Your coat of grain, it will protect her. Her wings will grow, your love will too. But all too soon, your mighty branches will cease to hold her. She'll fly from you. The way I feel is like a robin whose babes have flown to come no more, like a tall oak tree, alone and crying when the birds have flown and the nest is bare. When the birds have flown and the nest is bare. Hi. Well, we're in standard tuning. Capo or capo, depending on where you live, is on the 2nd fret. We're in 4/4 time, 4 beats to a measure. The guitar is tuned in drop D, which is standard tuning, except that the 6th string or low E string is tuned down to a D note. I use a thumb pick and my 2 first fingers, index and middle, but you can play any way you like. Bare thumb, bare fingers, 3 fingers instead of 2, okay? It all works. All that matters is hitting the correct notes at the right time. The song is, and lyrics, the lyrics and chords are listed on Gordon Lightfoot's website, shown below in the link. And basically he says the song is played in only 2 chords, D minor and A minor 7th. Here's D minor, here's A minor 7th. And he doesn't tell you that it's detuned or drop detuned. I wanted the sounds that they got on that first recording, and so I played around with the actual recording until I could make my accompaniment sound like theirs. So certainly what I am playing fits in with what they played on the recording. Regarding lyrics, I typed Gord's lyrics on the video preceding this section of the tutorial on on the video as each phrase went by, and you'll note maybe that I made a couple of mistakes on the words. I'm not very good with words, and so I often substitute something that sounds right but isn't literally correct. What I typed were Gordon Lightfoot's lyrics. What I sang is what I sang. So forgive my inaccuracies. The finger-picking pattern I'm using here is not terribly complicated. If you're new to the guitar, everything is complicated, so I'm not making light of it, believe me. But there are much more complicated finger-picking patterns. So this one, hopefully, is fairly accessible. And what that means is, because both the left hand or the fretting hand chords are not very complicated in this song, and the picking pattern is not terribly complicated, the whole song, hopefully, will be more accessible to a new player. So if you're new, I hope you can enjoy this and learn something from it. This is a Gordon Lightfoot song, but it sounds old. It sounds like an old spiritual, a minor gospel blues kind of sound. And so it really has an appealing sound, at least to me. To give you some insight into how I was thinking about this song, I was hearing on the recording an alternation from the D note to the C note in the accompaniment, like that. And to get that from a D minor, you actually have to go from D minor to D minor 7th. D minor 7th looks like that. What I found, though, in listening to the recording is that I don't hear the F note, which is this first fret high E. I don't hear that F note in the song accompaniment, if much at all. So what I realized is eventually that I could play this as a D suspended second, like this, and a D7 suspended second, like that. But if I'm not playing the open E string, it really isn't going to interfere with anybody's thinking that this is in a D minor, key. The general picking pattern for my TIM, or thumb, index, middle picking pattern, can be used for many 4/4 songs. So using a simple D suspended second, or D sus2, I'm going to illustrate that for you. It's hitting the 6-4-3-2 strings. 6-4-3-2. And that covers the first 2 beats of the 4-beat pattern, and then it repeats. So in its simplest form, this is a pretty simple pick. It's just going down the strings, or literally up the notes. So thumb on 6, thumb on 4, index on 3, middle on 2. If you're the kind of guitar player who plays with 3 fingers and you assign fingers to strings and keep it that way rigidly, then you're not going to like my way of describing this. You would play it probably thumb on 6, index finger on 4, middle finger on 3, and ring finger on 2. And if that's the way you're comfortable playing, by all means, play that way. Okay, you'll have to ignore what fingers I'm saying are to be used. What matters is hitting the right strings, okay, at the right time. Just to play, say, through a little bit of the first verse, it would go like this, using the simple pattern, okay? Just I hope you get used to using your right hand fingers. And I'll play it slowly. 1, 2, the way I feel is like a robin I didn't tell you how to play the A minor 7th, and that is using 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay? It gets a little more complicated when we do what I actually did on the recording. The pattern now is shown below, and the first 2 beats are played with a D sus2, just as I had already showed you. But when you get to the 3rd beat, you pull off and do a couple of 8th notes. And then hit the 3rd string with your index finger, and the 4th string with your index finger, and the middle finger hits the 2nd note. And again, if you're using assigned fingers to assign strings, you can do it your way. But this is my method. Okay? Now the PO in the diagram means pull off. Now what is that? It's when you pull off, literally means just pulling your finger off the string, and so that you can change notes abruptly. But the trouble with just pulling your finger off is it doesn't make very much noise after you lift your finger. So what you actually have to do to get a good sound with a pull off is grab the string with your calluses and pop it a little bit. And that takes practice, and it takes calluses. So I'm going to take this slow so you can watch on the camera, and we'll go through it again. And I already have my index finger in the D7 position, so then I add my little finger to make the D. So when I pull it off, I already got the index finger in place. Like that. Okay? There's one thing that I played in there I should explain. The A minor 9th. But it basically, I'm playing this in place of the A minor 7th. But it sounds a little eerier. And I'm actually hitting the high E string in this case to emphasize the eeriness. So let's take this the more complicated way, the way I'm playing it on the recording, and go through it slowly. Here we go. The way I feel is like a robin whose babes have flown to come no more, like a tall oak tree, alone and crying when the birds have flown and the nest is bare. Now, there's a couple of other things I need to show you. The introduction or intro, and also a little musical or instrumental interlude between the 3rd and 4th verses, is pretty much the same stuff, except it's got a couple of odd chords in it. The chords are basically a 2-fingered version of an F chord. And I think I called it an F major 9 or F major 7. F major 7, I think. And then this E. So it's like 2 fingers. It's ring finger on 2nd string, 6th fret, and middle finger on 3rd string, 5th fret. That makes that strange F chord. And then the E chord is just taking the same fingers down a half a step each and playing it like that, okay? So real slowly, I'll just go through it slowly. Here's like the way you'd start the song. Now, the point about this picking, I don't always play it the same way every time, that this picking pattern is so fluid, it's so loose. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can double notes. You'll sometimes, on the A minor 7th, I'm using my two index and middle fingers together to play double notes together. And there's just so much you can do. So I'd encourage you to experiment around and just get used to it. And it'll open up all sorts of possibilities once you're playing the right stuff with your left hand, okay? So I hope this helps you. Thank you for listening.